Thank you so much. I appreciate it. First off, allow me to begin by saying what a privilege and honor it is to be here. When Nick called me, literally probably about 2 years ago, and asked me to speak, I told him it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when because of my crazy schedule. So Nick, thank you for bearing with me. I'm typically a planner. And as soon as Nick called me about a month ago and asked me to speak, I started planning. But a week ago, probably Saturday morning, I was sitting in my house watching TV, flipping through channels, and I came across a story called 7 Yards. It's the life story of Chris Norton. And I want every single person in here, that's your homework for at some point in time this week, is to watch that story. Not only is it impactful, it's just amazing and it's inspiring. So I'm going to come back to that because it's very important, but kind of jumping in because we have limited time. One of my main industries, as Father Hermes had mentioned, is in the mortgage industry. I actually work with Facts and Biscuit's father. He graduated here last year, and also is Shane Radke here? Shane Crawford? Or is he remote? He might be remote. But that's one of my main industries, but I also have a sports agency. And in 2016, there was a young man that moved into my house named Geronimo Allison. He walked into my house, we sat on the patio, and he walked in with his family, his parents, his some sisters, and some extended family. And he said to me, if you could give me one piece of advice that you want to stick with me for the rest of my career, what would that be? And I turned to him, I said, well, Geronimo, great question. And here's the thing. During the course of your life, oftentimes in the path to success, in the path of professional sports, it's a crooked line. It's not a straight line. It's going to be filled with tons of highs and tons of lows. But the one thing that I would say to you to remember is to always remember these three things: to stay humble, to stay hungry, and to stay prayed up. So what do I mean by those three things? Humble. No matter if you're on the front page of the sports page every week, or if you're buried on the depth chart and on the verge of getting cut and the city's calling for your neck, always, always stay humble. I don't care if you have $20 million in the bank or $5 to your name. Stay humble and never, ever, ever think you're above somebody else. Treat everybody with love and respect, no matter where you think they might be on life's totem pole. No matter what the situation is, never read your own press clippings. You can allow other people to do it for you with grace and dignity, but never, ever, ever think that you're above anybody else, because the talents that you've been given are God-given. So always be grateful and thankful. And another thing that we've lost sight of in this society is rooting for people's success. Always root for other people's success. Number 2, staying hungry. In the world of pro sports, and really anything you decide to do, there's always going to be somebody, unfortunately, rooting for your failure. And also in pro sports, trying to take your job. There's always going to be somebody bigger, faster, and stronger than you. But always remember, never stop working and never lose that competitive edge, because getting there is hard, but sticking around is even harder. You can absolutely celebrate your accomplishments, but never think you've arrived and never get complacent. I have a saying in my life: average is just as close to the bottom as it is the top. You can be average just rolling out of bed in the morning. So why be average? Always make the decision every morning to be extraordinary and do everything you can and work tirelessly to get there. And lastly, but most importantly, stay prayed up. Always stay prayed up. I've seen guys with so much talent get chewed up and spit out by professional sports, because the minute they started to believe that they were above somebody else or had it all together, and then once they got on the front page of the newspaper or started to make a little bit of money, they lost who they were. They didn't realize who they were before they made the first dollar. They taste a little success, the entourage comes in, the distractions, and before you know it, those are the first people getting cut. I truly believe everybody should have a foundation grounded in faith and anchored in ethics, morals, and values. It basically comes down to this. Prayer should be the focal point of everybody's life, because if you don't stand for something, in essence, you'll fall for anything. So pray continuously about everything and for guidance. I'm really happy to say that Geronimo took that to heart, those words, and he's now what I call living the HHP life. If you look on his social media, as I know a lot of you guys follow different people, he hashtags all of his pictures, HHP, humble, hungry, and prayed up. So it's nice to see him, like he'll score a touchdown when he was at the Green Bay Packers and doing the Lambeau Leap, and underneath it, it has HHP. So those three principles are the same things that I would share with you today to develop, and I've developed over the course of my life. And actually, those are the three principles that I feel like really I truly learned here. So no matter where you are at your life, stay humble, hungry, and prayed up. And really, those three words are rooted in stewardship. The definition of steward, to manage and look after with extreme care. And I'm here to tell you, each and every person in this room is so blessed and so fortunate, and so always take those blessings that have been bestowed upon you seriously and be a good steward of them and be responsible for the talents that have been bestowed upon you. Because I always remember this, it takes a lifetime to build a reputation, but a second to destroy it. So back to the Chris Norton story and the 7 yards. Make no mistake, unfortunately in life, one of the things I can guarantee you, and another reason to always stay humble, hungry, and prayed up, is that during the course of your life, unfortunately, there's going to be some hardships. On July 4th of 2019, my house burned to the ground. I lost everything. A lot of awards from here, the Lashley Award, my diploma, game balls, game films, baby pictures, you name it, gone. And at the end of the day, that's all stuff. It's meaningless stuff. Did I work hard for it? Absolutely. Did I want it? Absolutely. Would I love it back? Sure. But it's all stuff. At the end of the day, the relationships and the bonds that you form here and spend your life creating those memories, because all of that stuff doesn't mean anything. Unfortunately, we live in a world where people worry about name brands. Where do you live? What do you drive? That's meaningless. It's just stuff. What you guys are doing in here today, that's important. What you're doing with each other and building those relationships, that's important. Stuff comes and goes. And lastly, I want to leave you with this. When those tragedies in your lives happen, please know that you have people here that will love you and lift you up when you don't have the strength to do it yourselves. Because I can tell you this, there's countless thousands of people in here and people that I see standing in the back of the room and sitting before you here that carried me in my weakest hour when I didn't know how I would find the strength to do it myself. I can't begin to tell you how many ways this institution has changed my life and everything in it. To give you an example, a dear friend of mine who didn't even go to Jesuit said this to me the other day. Everyone who goes to Jesuit is successful unless you choose to fail. So just stick to the program. And I thought about that the other day. I was like, how amazing is that? There's people out here, outside of these walls, that are rooting for your success. Okay? When I look back in the back of the chapel and I see Alex Cottrell, where's AJ? Is AJ in here? AJ, stand up for me. Is Jamie Arnold here? Or is he remote? Is Dominic Castellano here? Is he remote? Okay. I think back to these names, Shane Crawford, AJ Cottrell, Jamie Arnold. You guys can sit down. Thank you. To me, I'm sorry, I'm going to take a couple more minutes of your time. I'm going to go off script. When God speaks to you, listen. Okay? When I was preparing for this speech this morning, I said to I was overwhelmed with emotion. And I started thinking about what it means to be here, and I started thinking about the legacy. And I come in and I see the offspring of people that I went to high school with. You all have no idea what's going on in this place. My house burned down, but it was a home when I stepped into it. These are just walls, right? You all are Jesuit. And I'm far removed. I'm 47. Okay? And the people that are sitting in here and the people that are living this Jesuit life, outside of these walls, we're praying for you, we're rooting for you, and we're watching you. When you guys are successful, we cheer. When you guys struggle, we cry. And so one of the things I really want to impress upon you is you all owe it to each other, okay? This is lightning in a bottle, right? This only happens once. Everybody in here is so blessed and so fortunate. How many of you guys enjoy putting on Jesuit swag when you wake up in the morning? By raise of hands. All right. How many of you guys actually yourselves, not your parents, pay your tuition? How many of you guys love the car you drive? You have a car? Raise your hand. How many of you guys actually paid your money for that car? You're blessed. You're fortunate. In Luke 12:48, the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. What you all have here is a blessing. I was talking to Steve earlier about this. Some of you won't realize it until you walk out these doors. I look around, I see Andy Wood, I see Neil Goldman, I see Mr. Egger. This place is special. This is legacy, right? You all will pay this forward one day. And it's amazing to be here with you all, and I thank you so much for it. And I pray blessings upon you, and I thank you all, and I pray that we all stay humble, hungry, and prayed up. Thank you.
And I now have a special presentation to make, an official copy of your diploma, Andre P. Kirwan.